finally done. The draft is done. Broncos country, we're here to break it down. We'll tell you about the players who bring the power. This is horsepower.
Broncos country, what is going on? We're finally back. We're talking Broncos minicamp. Bo Nix is back healthy, and he had a lot to say about the season's expectations for himself and the team. I love it. We'll get into it, of course. This video is brought to you by Prize Picks. Use that code HMA. When you play 5, you'll get 50 instantly to use towards other lineups. But guys, man, we got to get into this. I'm joined here by Mark of Marky Sports, Kodiak of Kodiak Broncos, and Jeremy of Broncos Unbridled. Guys, be sure to join the chat, smash that like and subscribe on whatever channel you're watching, and let's get into it, guys. We got King E. Is that the new Slim E Broncos? Let's go.
Slim King.
That's awesome. How can we trade for an edge? Oh, yeah, we still need to talk about Jonathan Cooper as well. Development since last time we talked. So, anyways, let's get right to it. How about, Jeremy, when we start off with you? What's a takeaway you got right now so far with minicamp?
Mostly with just minicamp, everything seems kind of on schedule. They're definitely making sure like the Bo Nix news is nothing to see here. I didn't need to have the cleanup, but I did just for fun. Or I did it early. And so that's not surprising. The Jonathan Cooper news went from not worried about it to officially probably worried about it. But yeah, I think for the most part, we're basically on our normal timeline.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Kodiak, well, I guess before we get to your take, got to say hello to Darren. Say Min's gone some point. We'll get to that. We'll talk about the edge. We got Bo Nix Glazer 10 in here. Wonderful name. But Kodiak, man, what'd you think of Broncos minicamp? Anything that Bo had to say stick out to you today?
Yeah, man. Bo Nix, he seems back with a vengeance. You know, you see the body language, you hear him talk, you hear the tonality, and man, it could have been easy for him to be bitter based on how last year ended and the fact that it was out of our control after he had the game of his life against the Buffalo Bills. But really happy, really optimistic with him. Seems like, any worries about Bo Nix's short-term health, I think, have completely gone out the window because, you know what? Sean Payton said he was going to be 100% by the end of June. And Bo said, oh, I could be 100% right now. Maybe that's just him, talking up smoke. But whatever. But yeah, no, I'm excited for him. And you know what? I know that we did spend a little bit of our mental bandwidth on, thinking about Bo Nix and his injury status, but I think all is well right now.
Yeah, well said. It was fun while it lasted. It was fun to freak out about. Mark, what did you think of what Bo Nix had to say, man? And yeah, we'll get to it.
I think 0% concerned, man. I was a little tiny, maybe I would say I was like 3%, 5% concerned just to see how it is. No concerns at all. You can just tell, man, the body language. I believe him when he said that the cleanup was a bone spur. I kind of figured that could potentially be the case. I think we had talked about that. And it kind of makes sense. But, dude, he looked like happy, ready to go, pumped up. Sometimes you can kind of, sniff out a little bit when someone's kind of BSing or just giving you like coach speak. But I didn't sense that at all from him. So, super excited about that. And I'm pumped about Davis Webb, man. Like I am. He said something today. He talked about Davis Webb. He said this guy's been working his butt off, studying the film all off season, talking about different ways that he can help, make a couple changes for the offense to fit really well with what it is that they're doing. Obviously, he knows Bo Nix really well. So I've always been excited about Davis Webb. I'm even more so now. I think this is going to be really, really fun. So we're getting close, guys. We're getting close. It's before you know it, it's going to be training camp, and then we'll actually have a whole bunch of topics to talk about. But
oh yeah,
David, what are you thinking, man?
Dude, I loved how he said, I have been upset at Vegas for, I'm going to pull this up, is that he said, you know what? I'm going for MVP this year. I mean, first he said, win a Super Bowl. But then he said, and MVP. And I love that because Bo Nix isn't satisfied with where he's playing. So many quarterbacks. I mean, let's talk about, hey, how about, Jay Cutler, man? How about Man, Drew Lock, some of the Russell Wilson. I mean, I know all these guys are somewhat competitive, but I think, some of the quarterbacks that we've had in the past, they might have been just, okay with where they've been playing at, right? And Bo Nix coming off of a great season, he still thinks there's there's more food on the table to get, which I think there is. I mean, right now when you look at his MVP odds, it's a slap in the face, man. You got guys like freaking Brock Purdy like way above him. Justin Herbert's at like plus 1,000. Bo Nix is like plus 3,500 on like most sports books. And I think, again, if the Broncos come out and win 13 games this year, I think he's going to be right up there in MVP consideration. A lot of this has to do with how the league views you. I think with how everybody saw him completely outplay Josh Allen in the playoffs last year, I think the narrative has changed a little bit. Now, it hasn't necessarily always been the case in the dumb quarterback rankings, but that's okay. I think Bo, man, I think he can win MVP this year. I think he can do it. If he takes another jump, who's to say he can't? And I love to hear the fact that he's like talking about it, man. I think it's pretty fun. And this is a Super Bowl caliber team. So did you guys make anything out of those? I can't remember the last time we heard a quarterback talk about wanting to go win MVP. Like, I don't know.
What I took from that was he's a much more confident Bo Nix than in the past. Because in the past too, he would never like say things like that. If even the question was like trying to hype him up, he'd say, I'm still a young player on this team and I'm still trying to figure out my way. And he would always take a more humble approach. Entering your third year, you're going to be more confident in the offense. And those kind of comments show that. And also him saying, I didn't really feel like I needed OTAs. It was nice to have a later start because, I played like 35 games now, so I could just take the mental reps. But even that in and of itself shows so much confidence. And I love it, man. I love it. I mean, why wouldn't you want your quarterback thinking that way? But most importantly, winning the Super Bowl, MVP can come later. I don't really care all about that as long as we're winning championships.
Now, before we switch gears, I do want to ask you guys, and this is open-ended, so you guys don't have to answer it if you got no thoughts. But what did you think about, some teams canceling their mini camps versus, the Broncos obviously just delaying theirs? Did you guys have any opinion on that whatsoever? Mark, no? Kodiak? Jeremy?
I didn't even know.
The Niners and Rams canceled their mini camps.
Oh, I did hear about the Niners. I thought it was just like one day from the previous. So they just canceled the entire like third phase of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's common. You heard it from Dre Greenlaw. He said, practices were so easy with Kyle Shanahan. Everything's really easy there, and that's why they're always consistently the most injured team in the entire football league. So not surprised by that one. But
yeah. Cool. Well, Bo's arm definitely looked good. Yeah, we got some crazy people here in the chat as always. So you might get banned if you go a little too crazy. But man, let's talk about some of the other stuff we've had go on recently. Let's talk about kick returner first. Who can keep us or get us up to speed with who the Broncos have signed recently to return kicks and what this might mean? Because I totally blanked on the player's name that we just signed. So please, God, somebody help me out.
Sean Fresh.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about him?
Either Sean or Sam. I kept wanting to call him Sam Fresh yesterday.
Sam Fresh.
But I just call him Sean. So, yeah, I mean, he was in the UFL, St. Louis Battlehawks, along with Hakeem Butler that everyone was really pumped up about. He's a corner, kind of a smaller guy, 5'9". Trying to remember who drafted him. He was drafted in the NFL, didn't really play much, but he led the UFL with 10.4 yards per punt return, which is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So he's got a little bit of punt return, I don't know about kick return juice as well, but that's basically what I know about him. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add. I feel like I'm taking the show over, but Kodiak and Jeremy are quiet today.
Well, that means – go ahead, Kodiak.
Okay. Well, a lot of people are speculating. I know a lot of people are thinking about what this means for Marvin Mims. And listen, I don't really know what it means for Marvin Mims yet, but all I can say is anybody besides Jaleel and Bidet on kick return, I'm cool with, because those guys were so wildly ineffective last year when they did get their chances to be on kick return. And once again, I don't need a dude who's ripping it, I don't need a dude who can house it every time on kick return. Now, punt return, that's a different story because you can actually like flip field position. Not to say you can't do that on kick return too, but either way, last year our kick return game was woefully ineffective. So, it could be an area where Sean Fresh is going to, seize his opportunity. He makes a big play or two in the preseason. That could go a long way in potentially getting him the role. Now, I still expect Marvin to be on this team this upcoming year. A lot of people, there's smoke out there that a lot of people think this could mean something for Mims, but I don't think it's more a 2026 play. I think it'll be more of a 2027 and beyond play if it does mean anything.
Okay. And this is I think our third kick and punt returner that we've signed. So we got Sean Fresh, now from the St. Louis Battlehawks. We signed, as an undrafted free agent, Colby Katzis from San Jose State, maybe, offhand.
At AU. Flagstaff at AU.
Oh, NAU. Okay, Northern Arizona. And then we also have from, is it Virginia or Virginia Tech, Cam Ross, who's kind of like a Marvin Mims type of wide receiver. So I want to shout out Cam Parker because he talked about this in our Discord, and you talked about this too, Kodiak, is that, like guys are just kicking away from Mims, or I think some of these kickoffs we didn't even have him back there for, right? So you're kicking to Jaleel, you're kicking for Bidet. Hopefully we can have some guys that are actual threats to take this thing to the house rather than like what we've been getting on kickoff return. And it seems like there is an effort to not only raise the floor in the running back room with bringing in Jonah Coleman, but also raise the floor with the return game too, because it just hasn't been good enough. So might be interesting if one of these guys is able to get a 53 spot. You bring up that Sean Fresh, he's 5'9", so I'm imagining he's going to be mainly a corner slot or a slot corner. Had one pass breakup this past year, but gave up 3 touchdowns. All right. And then the other guys, Katzis and Cam Ross, are wide receivers, and maybe they can make the case for being a 6th wide receiver, but they also now got to beat out the great Hakeem Butler, right? So, I mean, that was awesome.
That was really a fun little Monday news. I was excited by that. You think that, like David, so all of the fun around him signing aside, what do you say, like chance-wise, percentage he has of making the 53?
20%.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's very high.
I think he's got a 20% chance. And
All right.
and this is why. Because Lil Jordan Humphrey has made this team. And I refuse to believe that Lil Jordan Humphrey is just in a different stratosphere level of player than Hakeem Butler.
Is he better at the Lil Jordan Humphrey role, though, than Lil Jordan Humphrey is? That's the big thing.
Are you a better Little Jordan Humphrey than Little Jordan Humphrey?
Are you just as effective blocking and knowing the offense and all that?
Well, he won't know the offense. I think he's a pretty good blocker, at least just looking at his like PFF stuff. I'm not watching Hakeem Butler blocking tape from the UFL. I'm just not doing that. But the one thing where we'll see if he's any better is that he's also a player that has struggled with drops, just like Lil Jordan does. But he's faster than Lil Jordan. He's 6'5", 242 pounds, and can still fly, baby. When you look at what he was able to do with the previous Battlehawks teams, I mean, I think last year averaged like 21 yards of reception. But in 2026, this year, I think that went down a little bit. But, man, he's a big-time playmaker. He fills the A.T. Perry role. Maybe Davis Webb will want to find these big speedsters. Yeah. Oh, man.
Takes up the practice squad role.
Yeah.
I just want to see him get his chance. He's definitely, like, Mark, you're definitely right. Like, he's our new A.T. Perry. And if you're telling me what odds would A.T. Perry have of making this team, if he was on the team right now, I'll tell you 20% right now. I believe in A.T. Perry, even though he's not on the team anymore. So, yeah, what about you guys?
Listen, man, I gotta put Hakeem Butler's chances at making the 53 at like less than 5%.
Dude, you're
Okay,
killing me.
listen, man.
Everyone's nodding their head.
Yeah, no, the
Man.
reason being is because, okay, this guy has been cut in the CFL 2 times. This guy has found his way onto 5 practice squads. He's barely been active in the NFL. He had a failed switch to tight end. His career's been littered by injuries. Like, listen, I agree that if Hakeem Butler were actually good, then he would be a lot more fun, I think, than little Jordan Humphrey. But we can't expect him to be big Jordan Humphrey just because they have a similar stature, okay? Yeah, no, but my expectations for Butler are very minimal.
Could he just been a late bloomer?
Maybe,
Well, he's
but
30, so it's very late.
that doesn't really happen at skill positions, though. Like linebacker, okay, fine. Quarterback, even sometimes, okay, fine. Wide receiver or running back, like if it doesn't happen within like year 3, year 4, you kind of just are what you are.
Maybe he can be medium Jordan Humphrey.
Yeah.
Like just give us a little more. I mean, obviously here I will give him this. If you go through that many cuts, that many like teams and squads and all that kind of stuff, and you're still there showing up at 30, I'll give you a puncher's chance to making it because you are not a quitter, clearly. Like they tried to tell you to leave many times and he said no. So that's the right mentality. And if he can push people but like that he's coming in for, I'm all for that. He found the right coach for his frame. So that alone will give him a chance.
And you found the right podcast to
That's true.
you found the right team to go to in terms of podcasters that are going to be behind you. But hey, was Alex Singleton cut from the CFL or did he just play in the CFL? I don't know.
He was the defensive player of the year in the CFL.
Oh, well, thank God we got a 2-time offensive player of the year in the UFL joining the team. That's even better. Yeah. So, yeah, David saying Butler is a DT clone in the UFL. Better than little Jordan Humphrey.
I actually didn't know when you said he was a failed switch to tight end. I didn't know he actually did do the switch to tight end. He played tight end for the Eagles before he was cut, and then went back to the UFL. So there's something interesting there, man, because he is 242 pounds. He was 225 pounds at the combine. If he wants any chance of trying to make this team, I'll say it's even less than 1. I think it's 1%. He makes the 53. But those chances go up quite a bit if he can actually contribute in the tight end room. And it's not going to be very hard to be better than Lucas Kroll, at catching the football as a tight end. And
don't let Cortland Sutton hear that.
What's that?
Don't let Cortland Sutton hear that.
I don't care if he hears that. If he's listening, I'm honored that he's listening, and I still will tell him to his face that he was tripping on that. But yeah, that's the big thing with my takeaway from that. But there was something that just literally just escaped my head when it came to Hakeem Butler that I was going to say, but I forgot. If it comes back to me, I'll bring it up. But it was the fact. I think the fact that he's 30 doesn't really matter, but because he's still practice squad eligible. So that's the important thing. That's maybe why why they liked it. Like he's a more mature dude. They can kind of figure it out, but they know that they could still put him on practice squad. Right?
He won't count as a vet on the practice squad. Because you can have 6 vet spots, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he would because he's only been active for 2 games in his entire NFL career. So I don't even think he gets that. I don't even think he's able to do that. So I don't think he would. Good question, though. Maybe I'll ask co-pilot or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's better than Dane Key, right? I mean, we'll see what Dane Key can do, but I don't know. Dane Key's got a lot to prove. I do like Cam Ross out of all of the guys that we've signed as undrafted free agents, though, in the wide receiver room. I don't know, man. There's just something about Cam Ross that I like. But, guys, I got to ask you then, with all this stuff, with us signing kick returners, do you think it's a possibility at all Marvin Mims could be traded before the trade deadline this year? Or is this just with him getting a new agent, I've kind of wondered if he wants to go somewhere in a contract year where he can get more opportunity to play. But it's almost the way you look at it. It's okay, we bring in Jalen Waddle to be who we were hoping Marvin Mims could be if he hit his ceiling, right? And sorry, Cornbread, in advance. I know he's going to hate all this because he loves Marvin Mims. But then, and then with kick returner too, you see us bringing in a bunch of guys there to compete behind him. I think the writing's on the wall definitely after this year that he's probably not coming back, like with these moves being made. But do you think the Broncos could move on earlier than that, Jeremy?
I mean, Darian made a really good point. It depends on with the contracts that are coming up this next season and the fact that, Mims is valuable for a comp pick. Like, we might just play it out and take the comp pick as opposed to see what you can get from him. I don't think you're going to get a second rounder for him probably. So if you can get a third or a fourth in the comp game and you're not going to do it that way, then you can have him for the whole season and have him in the playoffs. That's probably the smarter move. You just don't know, but like there could be an injury and maybe you're doing a player swap or something like that. So it's definitely possible. And the writing is on the wall a little bit because you bring in, Jalen Waddle and he's going to be filling that role. And Franklin's also coming up as well. So there's only so many spots for these guys. That's what's going to be tough about, cracking the squad as a wide receiver, no matter who you are. It's just because it's very, very crowded. But yeah, it's definitely possible, but probably not probable.
Yeah. Guys, any other thoughts on that?
I think it's more likely that he's traded than not being traded, if you ask me. And I don't know if it's – I think the fact that we signed a returner, the timing is just kind of funny. I don't know if it's like directly related to it. But he also changed his agents. I think that was the most significant thing. He fired his old agent because they weren't really getting anything done. Hired a new agent. You still didn't feel or hear anything about, the Broncos and him talking. So I think it's a very, very, very low chance that he gets re-signed here. I think the Broncos probably know that. And then it's just a matter of, playing it like you do. Like, again, if you're getting offered day 3 picks, you're probably like, would rather just play out Marvin. But you also don't want it to be a distraction. You don't want him to be bad for the locker room, which I don't think he would be. But if a team comes around, there's an injury in camp, they want somebody like Marvin, I think that there's a good chance that he could trade it. And they'd probably feel more comfortable doing it if somebody else emerged as a decent return guy as well. Because, you never know. You never know with some of these guys' and ability to return kicks. So, and it hurts my heart. I'm kind of with Cody. Like, I love Marvin Mims. Y'all know that. But just kind of being realistic of where we're at, like, it doesn't really make sense to not at least see, what's out there for him.
Yeah, man. Well said, guys. We got over 50 people watching right now. Please be sure to smash that like, get in here in the chat. You guys help make the show special, and subscribe. What the heck are y'all doing? So before we move forward, want to get to this comment here from Jackson saying, I think that Mims can still play his way into a contract with the Broncos. It might take some injuries, but again, if he comes in and shows that he's a better route runner, sky's the limit for a guy like Marv. That's always kind of been the thing with him. He's already a clutch player. Like, we know that. Yeah. Can he earn more opportunities on the field in a stacked wide receiver room? But, Mark, you alluded to it. We probably don't want that distraction. And we already got a big distraction. Well, if it becomes a distraction, right? But we already got a big distraction that the Broncos are dealing with right now. Jonathan Cooper, last time we spoke about this, it was just misdemeanor charges. And boy, did this thing just blow out of proportion last week, and to the point where he's staying home this week. He's not practicing with the Broncos as he figures out just dealing with these felony charges and things like that. It looks like the biting of the phone was just the tip of the iceberg with this. I'm curious what you guys think on what the Broncos should do, but also what the Broncos will do. We'll start with Kodiak and work our way around.
So what I think the Broncos should do, I think you should realistically operate that under the perception that Jonathan Cooper will not be available for this year for you. Now, whether that means trading him, cutting him, or he's just like placed on the commissioner exempt list, I'm not entirely sure. That being said, what the Broncos should do. Okay, guys, it's finally time for me to say it. Now that Cam Jordan's a New Orleans Saint officially, you already know. David, last 2 weeks ago, I think you said we don't need Von Miller. And I agree with that because I thought we didn't need him either. But I don't feel comfortable going into this year with only 4 deep at edge. So I want to sign Von Miller, man. I think it's time to do so. I think it's now the time to really get after it, with that. And Von Miller is the best edge rusher available on the open market. So yes, once again, it's just based on the fact that Cooper, you should plan on him not being a member of this team going forward. And I don't know if the team will stand by him during these troubles because Sean Payton, it felt like a different tonality today than it did last week, and we were just talking about it. So I think the writing's kind of on the wall there.
Talk about that a little bit more for people who haven't listened to Sean Payton.
So if you guys were tuning in like last week, I think the entire vibe around the team was like, okay, whatever. This is just haha, he bit a phone. Like, obviously still not a good look. But, Sean Payton today, I think he said that Cooper has a lot to work on, with himself and going forward with this situation. He said that he had some growth to do or something like that. So that was a big tell. I think that the team really, they're kind of like, all right, man, we're not going to stand behind you during this.
Guys, any other thoughts on what Payton had to say, Jeremy?
It just feels like tough love. Like sometimes you're like, hey, make smarter choices. And then there's other ones where you're just like, this is not acceptable. And if you're going to be successful in your life as well as a career in the NFL, like you need to not be getting in situations like this and you need to make better decisions. And I think the Broncos sending the message of like, we're going to take it into our own hands of like, you're not going to be here as opposed to waiting through the process is a good one because I think it sends a message to the rest of the team and to potential free agents and any of that stuff that we don't mess around with that. There's certain teams that are synonymous with guys like that. And then there's certain teams that aren't, and we're not one of those organizations. And I think that's just basically being told to him like, hey, we're not saying, I don't know. I necessarily think like we're done with you, but like we're not going to just go along with this kind of stuff. And that's what it felt like.
Mark?
I don't. So what I think is going to happen, I think the Broncos are going to have his back, man. I really do. I think they're going to let this play out, let it all cool down. By the time training camp comes around, I don't think many people will be talking about it all that much like they are now. And people always think that like Sean Payton's got this quick trigger and like he'll cut guys if they end up not being a distraction like he did with like Randy Gregory, but he's proven to be very fair too, especially with guys that he knows got good character. He knows that teammates love him, and Jonathan Cooper, by all accounts, has been a captain and been one of the leaders on the team, so he's going to get a longer leash. For God's sakes, they rolled with Ioma Uwazurike after he did all the betting stuff and was out for the whole year in his first year. So I think they'll just let it play out, man. And then, if it gets worse, if the charges, he ends up being guilty of something or a felony, then that might be different. But I think that's what they'll do. And I think that's what they should do. In terms of signing Vaughn, I'm still against it, man. I love Von Miller, but you're gonna try to get you're kind of having some embarrassing news come out of Jonathan Cooper off the field. It's not like Von Miller's been this unbelievably perfect figure off the field as well. He's had his own set of legal problems as well. And I just don't know if that's necessarily sending the right message. I think it's, we got your back regardless. I think his team does too. And I think it'll hopefully work itself out. But I guess the charges against his girlfriend got dropped today. So that was interesting. I just kind of reading about that. So, we'll see. They said July 22nd is when the court date is. So we'll know more then.
Yeah, man, I expect him to go on that commissioner's list, and right now I feel like they will operate with him as just not part of the equation, like Kodiak's saying, man. And pass rush is our strength. That's why I'm very high on Q Robinson, D'Andre Tillman, those guys. But it's always nice to have five. It's always nice to have five. And so, yeah, Kodiak, I'm with you, man. I know Vaughn hasn't necessarily always been a Saint, but there are differences. I think with his legal situation and what it's looking like right now for Jonathan Cooper. And so yeah. Me personally, I'd just like to see Cooper off the team. So we'll see what happens. But guys, want to say hello to some people in the comments. Of course, we got Cornbread in here saying Mims is getting 1,000 yards this year.
If Mims gets 1,000 yards this year, that means he's even more gone than we initially expected. Like, that means he will go somewhere. That means he has just played himself out of our price range, if I'm being honest. And you see what wide receivers get. I mean, shit, you guys see what Jalen Coker just got from Carolina, like 3 for 41. And he's like a solid up-and-coming player. So, yeah. And if Mims, with that speed, hits the open market, oh, boy. I mean,
if he gets 1,000, that means Waddle, Sutton, and Pat Bryant, and Troy Franklin all got injured, for sure.
Yeah, something went wrong. Yep.
And they had no other choice but to roll with him.
And Hakeem Butler.
That's right. And A.T. Perry and
Jordan
Humphrey.
Cornbread also saying, look, the Trial cook Cooper. It's going to be hard for him to come back from that. I think so, too. We'll see how it all plays out, but I'm at least there. They didn't put out a 20-minute press conference of, how they're going to stay behind him like Texas Tech did. So, we'll see how it goes. Now, Martin bringing up this point, one of the reasons our pass rush is great is because of Cooper. We don't really know how his loss is going to affect our defense. What do you guys think about that? Good question, or statement, rather, Martin.
I mean, it's accurate. We don't know. I think that we have really good potential behind him, but, coming in like as a rotational player as opposed to being a starter is very different. So that's true. The thing overall with Cooper though, until I see him off the team, to me is like he hasn't been a guy that has had a bad reputation. If anything, it's been the complete opposite. So I think he'll get the initial benefit of the doubt, or at least a second chance before something drastic is done. Now, I'm saying that with the information I have right now, but things can change. But as of right now, I think you should operate like Kodiak said, as he's not there. But I don't think that's gonna end up being that way. But you do plan for the worst and hope for the best. That's just what you should do in all situations. So,
All right. Well, Darian in here saying, "Hey, David, how do you feel about Sawyer Robinson? Did the Broncos work him out? Is that what happened?"
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's at minicamp right now.
They did.
He's at minicamp?
Damn.
Well, I guess I'll say I'm happy that we're working on a quarterback. I don't know why we just didn't bring back E.J. Warner, because at least he's the son of a Hall of Famer. That's kind of fun. But some things that I like about Sawyer Robinson. One, he's 6'4", so he's tall. I like my quarterbacks tall. He's got a little bit of mobility, but 220 pounds. But he's okay. He made some plays for Baylor. I'm looking up his stats right now. Last year, 60% completion, 36, almost 3,700 yards, 31 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. College quarterback rating of 140 or 137.2. He's interesting, man. He's interesting. And that would be great for him to push for a practice squad spot. I just want a developmental quarterback here. Again, I don't know how much more there is to develop out of Jared Stidham and Sam Ehlinger. They might have just capped out now. So, I did a video earlier today on Brendan Sorsby. I've kind of changed my tune with that because if you guys didn't watch it, that's okay. I don't expect y'all to watch my stuff. But since the last time we talked about Brendan Sorsby, guys, Brendan Sorsby, I don't think it would have been as big of a deal if the NCAA banned him and then he said, okay, I'm going to go to the supplemental draft. That's a non-issue to me, just like it was for Kayshon Boutte, some of these other guys who get suspended, they just leave. It's kind of like a clean slate once you get to the NFL. But dude, this guy's such an idiot. This guy showed that his judgment wasn't any better than when he was putting thousands of sports bets on here, because he's like, you know what? I'm going to sue the NCAA so I can force my way to be eligible and create this entire circus around things to where you knew college football and conferences weren't going to allow that to happen, allow him to play. So I think he showed terrible judgment over the past month. and it's become a way bigger circus in hoopla than it was, a little over a month ago before he got that injunction. So now with the Broncos having this Cooper situation go on, you can't bring in another little circus in Brendan Sorsby, as much as it kills me. Because I'll spend a 7th-round draft pick on him, maybe at this point, but he showed right now that he's too dumb. He's too dumb to be here. That's how I feel. Did you guys have any thoughts on that?
Are you sure it wasn't because we just cooked you in the Discord and then
No,
you had to try to find a reason?
no.
Okay.
I stood loyal by this guy, but I was thinking about it, man. Cooper ruined my Brendan Sorsby hype videos, man. Because
you know what's interesting about Sawyer Robertson? His cousin currently plays for the team. Could you guys guess? Have any ideas who his cousin is?
Q?
No, that's Robinson, not Robertson.
Oh.
He doesn't have the same. Jarrett Stidham is his cousin.
Really?
Which is funny because could you imagine like they signed Sawyer Robertson and then as a result they moved on from Jarrett Stidham, and it's like yeah, that would be a family battle. But yeah, I just saw that, so that's pretty interesting. Maybe it's like maybe they just brought him in for a workout as a hookup to Jarrett Stidham. But
they both played at Baylor. Interesting.
Yep.
Damn, getting cut by your cousin, that'd be crazy.
Sam Ellinger better find some more help, man. Because I would say they keep the cousin connection.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever see that meme from Fast and Furious with Paul Walker when he's walking out and he goes, "I said forget about it, cuz." That's what I always think of when I hear cousins. I say that to my friends all the time. I said forget about it, cuz.
That's funny.
That's Jarrett Stidham right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hopefully Sawyer Robinson, man, he does good, man. I like Sawyer Robinson. So I'm happy he worked out. Cornbread in here saying, hey, got an additional question here. Stidham or Ellinger going to pick up the torch, or do we desperately need a viable quarterback too? I've done too much talking. Mark, well, let us know, man.
It's going to be one of the two, whether we like it or not. I mean, I think, yeah, I just think Sean Payton values the room so much, he'll probably roll with all three. If it was me, I would just go with Ellinger and save the money from Stidham. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, man, where like you do need a viable quarterback too, but like, what does that mean, right? If you're talking about keeping the ship afloat and winning 3 to 4 regular season games, I think either one of those guys are capable of doing it with this current roster. If you're talking about winning an AFC championship game, I just don't think it's realistic that there's any backup quarterback that's going to be able to realistically do that. So yeah, they'll probably end up rolling with both because Sean just loves that room, and I believe him when he says it.
I think Davis does too. And Ellinger had chances to leave, potentially better chances than he had for the Broncos, and he decided more than once to stay. That's probably not – they're telling him something to give him confidence of staying. So obviously they rolled with Stidham, and he got his shot, but it wouldn't shock me at all if they just went with Ellinger.
Yep.
That'd be great if we just kept Ellinger. It would help us with the cap. And I don't know, guys. I would still like us to make another move. I would still like us to bring in another veteran linebacker for this group. But I guess it seems like right now the young guys are going to get their opportunity both at the edge and, inside linebacker position to prove they're worthy of, being good backups. So we'll have to see. But I would like to move on from Stidham.
Listen, I think the team is too good to carry 3 quarterbacks again. I think the team is too good to because I'm struggling to find spots for these very valuable positions where we need depth at. But unfortunately, once again, I think it is going to be a case where, we're going to hang on to all 3. I don't know why we're going to do it, but I don't really get the vision behind it. But you know what? Sean Payton runs this team, and I don't.
Yeah.
Damn, I was here because I thought you did. No,
So,
you
sad.
should.
There's a very interesting name that you guys should keep an eye. I just saw this article about like the 8 players for the tryouts that came out.
Oh, for real?
And I remember looking into this dude during the combine. I think it's during the draft because I think his PFF stuff really stood out to me. I got to go back and look, but his name is Herbert Gums. It's a phenomenal name. Or they call him Herb Gums, which is even better. And he was a defensive tackle at Boise. 6'1", 320-pound guy. So just someone to look. I had no idea he was even, available. So he could be a sneaky name, but somebody to definitely look into.
Wait, so he tried out this week with us, Herb Gums?
Herb Gums. He's trying out with Sawyer Robertson. We had tried out a fullback, offensive tackle, center, defensive lineman. Yeah, Herb Gums, and then there was another D lineman, Marlon Tuipulotu. That sounds familiar. Maybe I think his brother plays in the league, and 2 corners. So
21 tackles last year. Okay,
It's interesting because Tuipulotu and Gums are both nose tackles, and I know we don't really deploy traditional nose tackles, so that's really interesting that they brought in a couple for a tryout of archetypes we don't really normally go for, because you see Gums right there is 312, and Tuipulotu is, I think, similar, so that's interesting.
Yep.
Well, who was the nose tackle we had on the practice squad last year?
It was Jordan Miller, I think.
Jordan Miller.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice to see a couple guys, man, at least on the practice squad, that have that ability to just plug up holes. So, yeah, Herbert Gums. I might have to do a video on him, man.
It's a hell of a name.
It is. And that nobody's picking on that guy anymore. Like, he got enough of it when he was little, and he's not little anymore. How do you plug up a hole? You use gum.
Use gum.
Oh
This guy
God.
does.
If that isn't the best scouting report I've ever heard, or like pitch to sign a player, man, I don't know what it is. And there are no running backs on that list, Mark?
No, not from what I can see.
Uh,
All Trent. Well, there's a fullback. Trent Howland, a fullback, yeah. And then Marlon Tuipulotu's been in the league for a while. He was with the Chiefs for 2 years. He was with the Eagles for 3 years. This dude won 2 Super Bowls back to back. Just looking at this. And then he was with the Giants last year. So.
Okay. Be nice to get some Super Bowl experience. Here. Okay.
Yeah, I'm always intrigued by the trench guys too. The big 320 pounders. So.
Yeah. Bobby bringing up. Did the Broncos sign Bobby Okirike or Cam Jordan? Well, Cam Jordan's now with the Saints, so we messed that one up. Okirike, I mean, I guess I would welcome him. I want to be like super thrilled about it. I'd rather go after Bobby Wagner or Matt Milano, but seems like Red and all these other guys touring New York, they're going to get their opportunity right now. So.
Yeah, as they should. Yeah, it's Okereke is a weird one because he was awful last year, according to Giants fans, but the year before he was phenomenal. So he might be very like scheme dependent, depending on what you want from him. But like he's performed very, very well, and then he's been super bad. And the fact that he's still not signed, I think, is a pretty big red flag.
Yeah, I mean, he was a captain last year, and yeah, he's still not signed, man. Yeah, did they announce the Hard Knocks team?
I haven't heard.
They did, I think.
It was Seattle and then New England, right?
I thought it was the Bills. That was last year, though, right?
That was this past year, yeah. I remember Hamler got
Seahawks to be featured.
Yeah, Seahawks
this year.
They already announced New England for the next year as well.
So they chose to do it.
They did.
You always got the option to say no.
Yep.
New ownership, I guess.
Huh.
And I guess they already won the Super Bowl, so like screw it. If it screws up this year, who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, you're playing with like house money at that point.
It would have been awesome if it was honestly with the Pats this year. There would have been the whole. I don't know if they would have talked about the whole Diana Rossini thing, but that would have been really funny.
They wouldn't have, but yeah.
It would have been kind of obvious to at least see how it affected the coach, but we'll see.
If the Broncos ever got offered, would you guys want them to be on Hard Knocks?
I would love.
Cool.
I would love it, but I would also be like, it's stupid because it usually doesn't bode well for those teams. But I would be all for it, man.
Yeah, it's a double edged. Like for me personally, I would enjoy the crap out of it. But for me, watching as a fan, is it the smart thing to do? No, it's not. So shouldn't do it. So if you gave me the choice, if the Broncos, Jeremy, you get to choose if the Broncos are on there, I would say no. But if they were on there, you definitely know I'd be watching
cool.
every second.
It would definitely give us more video ideas too.
Yeah.
I think would always be fun. But it sounds, I would have loved to see the Broncos do an off-season Hard Knocks, but that'll never happen after the New York Giants just absolutely got flamed for letting Saquon go. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that was rough.
Cooked on that one.
yeah, it won't ever happen. Guys, it's about 10 till the top of the hour. Before we continue on, guys, you guys know, got to give a shout out to Prize Picks, America's #1 sports pick site. Use that code HMA, guys, when you sign up. Links in the description. You'll get 50 instantly towards other lineups once you play 5. Guys, we're going to do passing yards today. Hopefully you can see all these passing yard lines. So I'll give you guys some time here to find some, but we'll do this all together. What the heck? I thought we were getting season totals on here, but I guess we already got week ones. So, oh man,
Did I see a Wednesday games though?
Yeah,
is this preseason?
The Pats and Seahawks play on Wednesday night this year because the 49ers and Rams play on Thursday night.
Oh, Jesus. Man, we're going to have football 7 days a week very soon. Just watch.
Yeah. Oh, wait, here are the season totals. Dude, thank God, dude. I don't want to do week ones yet. Okay. Here we go.
Fernando Mendoza under.
You're going? Tell me why.
Because I think Geno Smith's going to play a lot of the year. Or not Geno Smith. Who do they have there?
Kirk
Cousins.
Yeah.
Kirk, yeah.
Another weird guy. I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers under 32.99.5 because you know what? You know what? They're going to draft Brent Sorsby, baby. That's what they're going to do.
What if A.T. Perry makes the 53 and is wide receiver 3 there or 2?
Then Brent Sorsby might be in conversation for Rookie of the Year. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
I see what I like. Give me over on Baker, over 3,500 yards. Dude, the NFC South, they don't play defense down there. And I know they ended the back half of the year pretty terribly this past year, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But the NFC South, like I said, warm climates, they always cook on offense. Buka coming into his second year, and Baker was cooking in the first half of this year. So I think they're going to be really good. I think they're going to be good, and I think that Baker's going to play some good football again.
All right.
Bakers don't cook; they bake.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeremy, find one you like.
I would go over probably on Sam Darnold. He lost his top running back, so they drafted the rookie, but I have a feeling they'd be passing a lot more.
Dude, wonderfully said, guys. So we're gonna throw $4 on for. Because I'm running a little light right now, all right, guys? So we'll see how this goes. But shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring the show. Again, use that code HMA. Links in the description to sign up. And we'll see how it goes. But I can't wait to see what happens with this whole Brennan Sorsby thing. Which team bites for him, man. I think it's going to be fun to watch. But we got Todd saying, "Hey, what about Jadeveon Clowney? Is he a scheme fit here? I really don't know."
I don't know. I think he would fit, but I don't know what the hell he's got left in the tank, if anything.
And he seems like the guy to me that's like always going to sign some big contract and then not live up to it, but somebody's going to continue to keep paying it, as opposed to getting a great deal on a guy. That's like Vaughn, you could get a great deal on because he wants to be on the team so bad. But I just don't know if he's right for this team. But I would say obviously no on both. But yeah, Clowney, I don't see him doing like, oh, I'll do a vet minimum, come in. It's not nice.
He won't. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think Vaughn wants a vet minimum either. I wish he would take that. But he's like, nah, man, I had more sacks than Cooper did last year.
Yep. I think Jadeveon had just as much. He's at 8.5 last year.
Yeah.
You don't need a Randy Gregory. Does he have a Randy Gregory reputation? I did not know this. Jadeveon Clowney.
Maybe work ethic wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, man, I'm out of topics to talk about, man.
I got a couple.
Okay, you got a couple? Okay.
Okay, did you see that J.K. Dobbins had a deal in place with the Jaguars before re-signing with the Broncos? Now that's 2 seasons in a row that we've taken from the Jaguars right before they thought they had RJ Harvey and they thought they were going to draft Pat Bryant, and we snaked them on both of those, and then now doing Dobbins again, which is kind of interesting because I think the general assumption was we were going to be the team in place where he was going to be in place. And to hear that news, I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. What do you guys think of that?
Well, a few thoughts. Okay. So a couple thoughts. So we obviously value the players very similar to Jacksonville. So are you telling me that Borkature was one of the 6 for 62?
I was thinking about that.
Nah, I'm kidding.
I honestly would not be shocked, man. But
Dude, imagine the outrage.
Oh my God. Yeah, no. We would have made January 6th look like a picnic in downtown Denver if that were the case, if we took Borkature at 62. But no. No, as far as J.K. Dobbins, I know we all kind of speculated that Jacksonville could be in play because they didn't really have a running back after losing ETN. And I don't remember I just remember I thought Jacksonville at the time would have been a good fit for him. And they ended up signing Chris Rodriguez. But, when Sean Payton goes to the owners' meetings and says, yeah, this guy was number 1, a priority above all others, like, okay, man, that's just you trying to be like, yeah, all right, we got him back. And you know what? I can respect the coach speak there. But, yeah, I don't know. That is interesting. And also Harvey tearing his labrum.
That's what I was about to say next. Yeah, that was my next topic.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at all. It's kind of surprising. I'm not necessarily worried, but never great. What do you guys think?
Well, I think Kodiak's tweet that we would have been down to basically just J.K. Dobbins had we made the Super Bowl on offense. So it's a blessing in disguise. We didn't get there and get absolutely obliterated by the season.
Yeah, like half of J.K. Dobbins, too. It would have been the Tyler Bidet show, which is crazy.
Oh, my God.
Jaleel McLaughlin
Tyler Bidet.
strutting out there. Yeah, I think the J.K. news it makes sense why we gave him that 2-year, $16 million contract, which I still think was a lot.
Yeah.
But at the time, I think we were just so desperate for signings. We're like, whatever, it is what it is. Because I didn't like that contract at all. But that makes it at least make more sense. Because, I think a lot of us, myself included, were like, you really think that they were competing with a lot of teams for JK at that price point? But I guess this kind of shows that they were. So if the Jags were going to give him that kind of money, I don't know. Maybe it's not the smartest move. But yeah. Hopefully RJ's good. Still hasn't been practicing at all?
Apparently he did some work at OTAs, but he was still limited.
Damn, poor dude.
Yeah,
poor dude. Did he even I think he finished that game out though.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. But that is crazy. Luckily for him, as a running back, it is an upper body injury. Obviously you never want it to happen, but at least it was an upper body injury. That is the silver lining there.
Yeah. No doubt.
I feel like guys play through torn labrums all the time, man, which is crazy. I'd be out of commission, man.
Oh, dude, 100%.
No doubt about it. But cortisol or cortisone shot, right? Bam.
Well, that's why so many of these damn players are injured for their whole career or get these addictions, man, because they're just always pumped up with painkillers. It's crazy. Crazy what they play with.
It is, man.
But yeah, guys, any thoughts on Drew Sanders, the Drew Sanders show? Now that Cooper's going to be off the team,
dude. Yes, he's our 5th edge. What are we even talking about?
Cooper,
dude, it would be the most Drew Sanders thing for him to break out this year.
Yeah, it would.
Sorry, Mark.
No, it really would. It would be it'd actually be the most Sean Payton thing if Drew Sanders finally gets healthy, balls out, has one bad game, and then they cut him.
And then they switch it back to off-ball linebacker.
They're like, sweet, dude. Way to stay patient with a player and then just cut him. Give him the Greg Dulcich treatment.
Yeah, maybe Johnny Walker makes the roster this year. I mean, Mark, you're a big Johnny Walker guy, right? If I remember correct.
I wouldn't necessarily say a big Johnny Walker guy, but he's definitely someone that we can't forget about because, he was the priority UDFA last year. I think we gave him the most money. And they put him on IR early. So I don't think it was like a season-ending injury. I just think that they wanted to, keep developing him. So yeah, definitely someone you can't forget about with Johnny Walker, because he can certainly ball out. He was pretty dang good in college too.
Facts, man. Facts. Well, guys, any other last notes before we sign this thing off? Guys, we'll be back next week, of course, to talk about the rest of minicamp and, hopefully some updates to some of the different items that we've talked about. Good ones. Maybe we'll make a signing. That'd be cool. But please be sure to go subscribe to Mark, Kodiak Broncos, Broncos Unbridled. Links are in the description there. Before we do go, guys, Mark and Kodiak, you guys are pumping out the content. Any videos that people need to be aware of, keep their eye out for? Mark?
Man, I've been so bad. I've been slacking so hard. I've just been so dang busy doing a million different things. But yeah, hoping to get a lot more, finally get those film reviews out. I've been putting like the videos themselves together, like the actual film portion. So hopefully crank a few of those out, and then, talk about, more Broncos news as it comes out. But yeah, I've definitely been slacking. So sorry for all you guys that actually care.
Kodiak?
You think you've been slacking? Dude, I posted one video this whole September. Or no, June, I mean. But no, I've been making a lot of short form content. So you know what? Guys, if you follow me on Twitter, you can see that like 80 to 90% of what I post on there is an absolute joke. I don't take that platform seriously at all. But you know what? Maybe I could start posting more just BS on YouTube and TikTok. So look for me to pump out some fun shorts. And if you would give me some engagement on there, I would love it, because I love posting engagement. So yeah, if you see any shorts I'm making over the upcoming days about Brendan Sorsby, signing Vaughn, or all these guys who are slated to break out, maybe Drew Sanders or something like that, then give me some engagement. Hit that like button and comment on those.
Yeah, I guess
You're a grade A engagement bait guy. That one had me dying. That one was one of the funniest ones, and I think so many people had no idea that you were just joking. It was so funny.
Dude, I gotta read the comments. This got almost 40,000 views. I see your tattoo artist was a Chargers fan. Looks excellent.
Tim Context said, "Looks excellent, brother." Dude, Broncos for 6 is always responding with that gif on post.
Great tat, man. Oh my god. Is your tattoo artist Spanish? That's crazy. Oh man, that shit looks fucking horrible. Oh man, I love that. Sorry, I just got to go through all these comments before we sign off. It's high key ass, bro.
Guys, if you didn't know, David was the one that sent this to our Discord. He was like, "What the hell are people posting in those Broncos Facebook group chats?"
Yes, the
You're
guy
just recycling it and murdering it. I love it.
Not good, man. Be more selective with who you work with. Please tell me it was free.
No regrets.
That doesn't make it better if it's
No regrets.
on your body.
Bro, what did the dude? Did Dave Drake? Okay, man. I mean, I guess that.
Nice.
Man, I like yours, but partial to mine. Well, those look better, dude. Not it, pal.
So good, dude.
Dude, Dave Drake keeps posting his tattoos.
He just wants to show off his forearms.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Bradley Chubb drawing the Broncos logo.
That's the Broncos logo you really need. Bait used to be believable. Do whatever. Okay. Sorry. We got it. But this was just a beautiful bait post, man. This was great.
And 40,000 views too.
That's his thigh. You got to look down at that every time. That's rough.
I know, man. It's rough. Better get a tat. Get a better tat in prison.
I was thinking he got it in prison. Is what I was thinking. Because
you've been in prison.
Yeah, because that's what I would say to people. I was like, I was in prison. I had to.
All right. Well, guys, thanks again for spending the last hour with us. We will see you next week. Be sure to hit the like on the way out, and let me know who you want the Broncos to sign. We'll see you soon. Go Broncos.
Peace.
It's finally done. The draft is done. Broncos country, we're here to break it down. Woo! We'll tell you about the players who bring the power. This is horsepower.